And do you feel like those expectations you talked about, like societal, racial, genre, all of those things, as a gigging artist, a touring artist, do those expectations hurt you when you maybe have to feel like you're only allowed to give them half of Big Joe Walker?
Well, I think that part of it is growth in artistry, right? Like I
Right.
think as an artist, there's some artists that just get it who they are. Like my buddy William Clark Green,
Hmm.
that Sun Gun's been Will since Will started Will.
Yep.
Like he gets who he is as an artist, and that's where he pushes. My problem is because I love so much music, it's been very hard to dial in my artistry into a that's why if you listen to my record, there's so many types of records on there,
Hmm.
right? Just because there's a super country record, there's a soul record, I mean, I
Disco.
even
There's
there's
disco
a
in there,
disco,
man. Yeah.
yeah, like there's even a Motown record
Yeah.
on it,
Yep.
so it's like there's a for me because it's so broad and my musical and this is not a braggadocious statement, but my musical talent really does cross a lot of genres.
Yes, it does.
Uh, because that's how I trained in a lot of genres, right? Was um it's so hard to say, hey, we're gonna dial this in, Joe. Let's focus this way. Let's try to put this theme on this record. And what I've done, what has really been great, and this has happened here in the last 2 years or so, of really being able to say, hey man, it's okay to make a different record. If that's what that record calls for, just make the record.
Hmm.
Because the song is going to be a song. It's going to be a good song or it's not going to be a good song. And genres don't really matter when the record is good,
Hmm.
right? So there's a reason why kids know the Temptations' My Girl song because it's a good record,
Yep.
right? No matter if you're a kid that grew up in the country or the inner city, like you know that song because that song is a good record.
Hmm.
And I think that's where my focus have been now is hey, play your records and like this new records that I'm starting to push, they're really piano heavy because that was my first instrument. That's my first love.
Hmm.
And so like a lot of these records are going to be just piano records and some people want to hear rock and guitar and yeah, there might be some in it, but for the most part, it's piano influenced records that we're going to be pushing out, So it's a and I probably went on a tangent. I'm sorry, but
No, that's what this
the
show's for, man. It's perfect. Yeah.
but yeah, man. So like, I just feel that with music, um, it's so important to be able to explore and to not think about because here's the deal: we're still professionals. We're still trying to make a living at this,
Hmm.
right? And so I live by the concept, right? If I'm selling snow cones, I like grape ones, but the whole world wants cherry. Well, you want to sell cherry snow cones, right?
Hmm.
Or you're just going to eat a lot of grape snow
Or
cones.
maybe a cherry snow cone with just a little touch of grape in it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea is, look, you're not going to change people's taste, but people can recognize, oh man, that's a great record for what that record is. I don't listen to a lot of heavy hardcore rock, but I can tell you it's a great record. No more than if I listen to Spanish music, which I absolutely love, and I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I hear it. I'm like, man, that's a great record. And
Hmm.
I'm asking my friends, Spanish freaking friends, what are they saying? Because I love this song,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Scandinavian music, like Iceland
Yeah.
and Sweden and stuff like that. I have no clue what they're saying, but I love it, man. Love it so
What do they
much.
call it? Sky rock? What is it
Yeah, I think
called?
so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of that is from that, but like, man, there's an artist named Aurora. She's from somewhere up there, and I love her, man. She does both English and Swedish or Icelandic, wherever she's from. She's amazing. But
She's not the one that plays the violin, is it?
no,
Is
but
that
I think
her?
I know who you're talking about, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's back up just a little bit because I love to hear when your first impression into music, and then you go from that because obviously when you're first being influenced by it, and you're a listener, you're a consumer, so to speak. But at some point in time, you become musical yourself, right? So you pick up an instrument or you play piano. When did that happen for you?
Well, I was in church a lot, and um, my mom didn't let me sit in the back with all the cool kids. Like she made me sit up front to where she could be in the choir stand
Keep an eye on you.
and keep, do that mom beatboxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sit your butt down,
Yep.
all that. And so I just started my only entertainment was watching the musicians in church. And so I just sit there and I just watch the musicians. And that's really how we had an old upright piano in the like our family and life center in the church, basically where we have food and all that kind of stuff. And so I just go there and I just be banging out the keys. What's interesting, my drummer, who's been my best friend since third grade, like he and I both went to the same church, and so we would just play music, like, and that was a cool thing. So, we might go outside, play football or whatever, and then come inside and just play music, like just trying to learn songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was first. That was when you started. I want to say third, fourth grade,
Wow.
when you really said, like, man, I really have this obsession with music. And my family knew it. So I remember one year for Christmas, the theme for me was, my brothers and sisters were all adults by the time I was 6. But, one year I got a keyboard and drum set. And so it was just always like, my family was so beautiful by investing in me in that, because they just knew I just had a love for it.
And that could definitely not be the case when you're kind of maybe a surprise, right? Like all your brothers and sisters are adults, and like you come along as a late bloom or whatever, and usually they can be done with parenting by that point, right? It's nice that they were still investing in you, man.
Oh man, it was awesome, man. I'm so blessed. Like both of my parents are gone now. But man, me and my brothers and sisters were so close, it's ridiculous, and that's probably the greatest gift I think my parents ever gave me, was just, they just raised some really good human beings, and really decent, loving people, and like I said, we're all extremely close to this day.
I love that, man. Yeah. My wife, her parents were very, very old as she came along. I think she's 42 now. Her dad passed away at 86, and he was in his 50s. When they had her. So he was born in the 30s, so like even a generation before our parents, right? But yeah, so I was always interested in that, like how that worked for them, you know what I mean? Her being so young. But